Hey guys, hey, I wanted to go over a little something that I'm sure a lot of you guys that do little home projects or DIY things around your house that you probably have the same, you may or may not have the same problem that I do, but one of the issues that I have is space. I do live in a pretty good sized house and it has a 4-car garage, but I don't have a workshop. So 2 bays of that garage is my shop. I might turn that away from that light there. But so I wanted to show you some of the things that I do that kind of minimize space or maximizes space by storage and places to put things, and some ideas I have to make life a little easier for the DIY person that may not have a lot of place to put everything. As you can see, I got quite the mess over here because I don't have a place to store just loose things. So what I've got up there is a couple kitchen cabinets you could probably either see on the side of the road that somebody tore out after they did a kitchen rebuild, or you can get the cheap ones out at Lowe's or Home Depot that are, you know, just plain square cabinets, and you just mount them to a stud on the wall, and then you can start putting away all your loose junk. And don't be like me and mount the doors backwards with the handles up here, so I gotta flip them around. Got a nice stainless table that I got out of an estate sale. One of the problems is there's not a lot of storage under it, so I plan on mounting a shelf probably halfway. I might, let me see if I can take this down a little bit. So if I put one at the very bottom on this brace here, and then run a brace across the back and put a piece of sheet metal across there with a couple of supports going across, that's one shelf. And then I think I'm going to put another one about right here with some steel angle iron going across, mounted with a bolt onto this aluminum legs all the way around. Put a couple braces across and put another piece of sheet metal. That way I have plenty of storage underneath there. These things are great. I've had these things for years. They have all these little drawers. You put all kinds of screws, nuts, and bolts in. You can mount them on the wall. I haven't mounted these yet. I'm going to mount them on the wall. That way I can get them out. I can roll this. This is on wheels. So if I want to roll it around, I can. Let me see if I can move this over here. My tools, just about every tool I have is on wheels. That makes it so I can easily get them in, get them out, but still have room to do whatever work I want. I bought one of these cabinets from Harbor Freight. I think they're like 30 bucks, 30 or 40 bucks. I've had it for years, so I'm not sure. And then I have this portable piece of 1/2-inch plywood that I slap on top. Keeps it portable, has a shelf on top so I can put stuff in, but I have it like as a little painting table that I could paint. You can see that curtain up there. I bring that curtain down, and on the other side I have a curtain that goes all the way across, and I literally turn this into a paint booth. So if I can paint any projects, I keep any paint spray off of the cars that might be on the other side of the garage. So, move this out the way. This is a very convenient, this is made by, who makes this? Delta. It has my sliding compound miter saw, and all you do is push this handle and then push down, and now I got my saw ready to roll. This pushes in, slides all the way out, The other one slides out too. Shoot, that's about 10, 12 feet. These rollers, well, they don't roll so much for rollers, but you can set up a jig with them. They move in and out, up and down. You can slide this, position it as a jig. It mounts flush with the top of the saw. You just have to loosen this up and adjust it. So it's a really nice, bench. The saw, I put a piece of plywood on because the saw didn't exactly match. And I mounted the plywood to the bench. Push this little button down here again and lift. And it's done. Now you just grab it and roll around. So it's really portable. I have a little, this is another little bench here. Move it around. You can find these online, Amazon. They're like $10 or whatever. You can, and it has all these slots on top, so you can see if I can show you that. You can basically mount anything on top of here. Maybe a like I have sitting over there, a grinder, which I don't have mounted on anything, but I'm in the process of doing that. I'm gonna get a little floor mount for it. Here, 12-inch bandsaw on wheels, roll it out, roll it back. The only thing not on wheels is this drill press. And I may move it on to something with wheels because it's sitting with a wheel hub, which makes it really heavy. So it's not easy. One of my biggest, I got no room fixes. Move some of this stuff out the way. Is this here. This is my portable welding cart. So if I got some welding to do, I'm not a professional welder, but I'm not bad. I mean, I went to school. When you get older, go to your local VOTEC, vocational school. You know, go to welding, go to auto mechanic, whatever you want to do. I mean, they're not, most of them are publicly funded schools, so the cost isn't that much. So I picked this up at either Home Depot or Lowe's. I don't remember which one it was. And I got it less than half off. It was, I think it was originally like $3.99 and I got it for like $1.50. It was like really cheap. Had some dents in the back, and what I did was, I have this is my TIG, stick, welder, and plasma cutter. And this is my MIG welder. This, you know, basically Harbor Freight type stuff. This I got online. It's actually pretty dependable. It runs off of 110. If you want to do, I think it'll do plasma cutting with 110, but I would go ahead and run it on 240. It runs 110 or 120 or 240, and I went ahead and installed a 240 outlet in the back so that I can run it on 240. It comes with a little pigtail cables that you can. The original cable that comes with it is a 3-prong. I'll show you back here. Regular 3-prong 220 cable, and then it comes with a little pigtail that snaps on it and goes to 120, a regular 3-prong outlet for 120. But I think it exceeds, it needs a 30 amp outlet. So I went ahead and ran it 220, and I built an extension cable because I usually use it outside. Some of the things, I got a little portable air compressor on here. And then you have all these drawers that it comes with. I mean, I'll show you. Let me pull the camera off. This is my top drawer. I got my welding gloves, my welding jacket, some loose connectors. In here is all my TIG and plasma cutting parts. I just bought this little case. I got there's some tungsten rods, some heat resistant thumb, or like little gloves for your fingers while you're TIG welding. Plasma cutting tips, TIG tips, little plasma cutting wheel. This thing's great. You put your plasma cutting tip in there and it keeps it right above, right at the right level. Just some parts that I have in there. Some soapstone for marking on metal. This is little stats on what kind of metal, what voltage, what air pressure you should have, whether it's argon or gas, thickness of metal. It's a nice little reference chart that I made up. Then I have in here some, these are 7018, yeah, 7018 welding rods, stick rods. And then what I did was I took some PVC. This is, I think, 3/4 inch. And this has, if I just tap it a few times, this has some aluminum brazing rods. So we'll do some aluminum brazing. Then you got some MIGI weld alloy rods and some MIGI weld solder and flux. And that stuff, I'll tell you one thing, that stuff works really good. A little wire brush they give you with, I think I got that with the aluminum brazing rods, but it's a pretty cheap piece of junk wire brush. Just some junk in there. Put my gloves back in here. Next one, I have airline. I got a torch kit, some more 7018 rods in here. Here's an example of what I did with 1.5 inch PVC. Take the cover off. There's some 7018 rods. Put some electrical tape around it, allows you to close it up real good. Down there's some, what is this? Aluminum. Yeah, these are aluminum brazing rods. And there's some carbon sticks. I think I have some more of those. Yeah, there they are. Gouging carbon rods. Carbon gouging rods. Zip ties. These are more 7018s in here. Some books, and another torch kit. This is a cool little tool. If you ever try to use welding to close a hole, like you got a screw hole in a piece of steel, this is magnetic. So, or is it this one? No, never mind. Yeah, this end is magnetic. Get that off of there. You stick that on there. Find a piece of metal that's magnetic. There you go. You stick that on. Like if I was working to close this hole here, you keep this, line it up. Hold on, let me get this lined up. Man, that's a strong magnet. There you go. So you take this and you line it up so that it covers the hole, that the brass covers the hole, because that's not going to, the steel welding, the steel is not going to stick to it. And then you just turn this, as you can see it's loose. You just turn this knob until it's tight right up against it. And then you go ahead and weld around the hole. And when you're done, you just take this off and you'll have your hole filled and kind of grind and clean it up. Get it off me, somebody. That's a strong magnet. Use that for magnet fishing. There you go. That handle actually goes to a little portable winch. Third is some cables, extension cables. I used to have a oxyacetylene kit. There's still the hose for it. Pedal for my TIG welder. plasma cutting glasses. And then in the bottom is just rags and clamps and basically junk. So once that's all done though, you set this aside and you open this up. And this is my argon gas kit. Got some flux, solder, some glasses over there. And I have this strapped to it. Cut some holes in there so the chain would fit. And all this is the little tool storage that comes with the toolbox. You open that door up. And then what I did is I cut some holes. Close this up. Let me put this back up on my tripod. All right, so that's how that's all set up. Now, I turn it around on the side here. I have my mask, welding mask set up here. Just used a pop rivet gun and put a couple clamps there. And this is on some pretty heavy duty wheels, so it moves around pretty nice. Position. Yeah, so that's the back. Here's my plasma cutting tip, which I definitely need to replace. TIG welding cable and tip. Over here is my stick welder and ground. Here's my MIG and ground right here. Just have it on one of these clamps. And then what I have, get this out the way, is I have these right here. These are, that's just some steel rods. I don't know if it's this one. Yeah. So I pop this off, and there's my TIG filler rods. All, I think these are all just regular steel filler. Turn this one. Yeah, this is stainless. So I got stainless and regular steel. Then, if I bring this down, oh no, you can see it. So I have an air line here with a filter. There's a filter inside there where the argon gas went in. And then I have this ball valve. This is where the argon gas comes out. I don't have it hooked up right now. It goes into here. And this is a three-way valve. If I go this way, it'll open up for argon gas to go to my plasma cutter. It'll actually go here too, but won't be using my MIG welder, so it doesn't really matter. If I'm here, then it sends regular gas. Well, actually the argon is for TIG welding. I could use it for MIG too, but both gases are going to both of them. Go this way, and this is for regular air. And then I use that for plasma cutting. I do have to run a hose for the argon gas. I don't know what happened to it. Something came up. I don't know why it's missing, but it just goes through here, comes up, plugs in right here. I think I was just missing a clamp, but I haven't done any TIG welding in a while, so I haven't really used it. But that's pretty much it. That's my little welding cart. And it's portable, moves around. I can take it in and out anytime I want to. And I'm going to convince my wife that I need a larger slide it in and then rock it right over. And you can take the key if you want, if you're worried about it coming open. Same key, both sides. Just stick it in and turn it and lock it if you want. I don't usually lock it. But back here is a plasma cutting table that I built myself after I finished going to welding school, and has a little shelf at the bottom, has grounding spots on there to ground your plasma cutter, and these hinges, right now there's 16 gauge steel on top, and what those do is those will flip out, and then you have the slats on top of the table that you can plasma cut on. On top, I'll sometimes, up on top here, I'll use that to do TIG welding. I'll be sitting up there, because basically once I ground here, I ground to the whole table. And then I got a bunch of hard drive discs and stuff over here from computer hard drives that I do some aluminum brazing on. I want to try to, try my hand at doing some artwork. Get this up. Doing some artwork with silverware. It's fun to do. Here's something else that I did. Still got too much junk in here. This table here, this is a good table you can get from Harbor Freight for, I think I paid 30 or 40 bucks for it at the time. They had a sale. And I got a vise that I mounted to it. It's a little heavy with the vise, but I use it to do some welding work on there, because I can ground to this and do whatever I need to weld. But the greatest thing about this is you loosen these two handles. This slides down. Put this, tighten one of them. You don't need to tighten both up. And then you can lift it up. Yes, it's still pretty heavy. And then you can get it out of the way. So that's pretty much how I try to compact things so that I can do some of the hobbies and DIY stuff that I do in my home and around the house, or just for fun. Get yourself like this. It's a nice shop vac that you mount up on the wall. It's out of the way. Hook a bunch of hoses to it. You can get anywhere in your shop. And that's about it. You got any questions? Give me a holler. Go ahead and subscribe if you like what you see. And talk to you later.